Hello and welcome to Abundantly Minimal. My name is Sarah, and in today's video I'll be sharing 6 different decluttering and minimalism games or challenges to help you make progress simplifying your space. Sometimes decluttering is just not that much fun, but if we add a challenge, it can make it a little bit easier, or we can use the challenge to help hold us accountable and create more of that meaningful change. And today I've organized them from my least favorite to my favorite, but honestly all 6 are very good. Let's start out first with a timed decluttering challenge. In this example, you set a timer for a certain period of time and you use the timed approach to help you declutter more than you might have otherwise. This can also be a great option to do against family members. Maybe you're competing for who doesn't have to do one of the household chores or something simple like that. And it allows us to try to think fast with that urgency of the timer. My only disclaimer I would say with this challenge, and this is why out of my 6 today it is my least favorite, we might be motivated because of the urgency of the challenge to let go of something that maybe we would regret later. Again, definitely not always. I've done this before and had no regrets, but it's just important to make sure that all of our decluttering is intentional. So maybe after the challenge is done, take one last minute to reflect about these items before actually removing them from your space. The second strategy I'll talk about today is similar, but this one, rather than being time focused, is numbers focused. So instead, it's a decluttering challenge where you set a certain number of items that you'd like to remove, and you go around and try to find that specific number of items to declutter. You still have that metric to help you keep track of where you're at and how many more you need to go, but it removes a little bit of the urgency from it. So when I was using this strategy back in the day with my husband, we might each say, okay, tonight we're going to declutter 10 items each. And it was the goal of finding those 10 items. And of course, once you found the 10 items, you were done decluttering and you could relax and go do something else. So it still is motivating the same way like the timed challenge, just with a little less urgency. And it doesn't have to be huge numbers of stuff. Definitely don't set a massive goal like 50 or 100 items to try to do in one day, but very doable to do 5, 10, even 20 items. Probably one of the most well-known decluttering or minimalism challenges out there is the Minimalism Game, which comes from the Minimalists. And there is one main version of the game, and I'll also talk about 3 additional versions that you could use if you're interested. So the main version, as they set up on, I believe, the Minimalist website, is that whatever day of the month it is, you declutter that many items. So on the first day of the month, you declutter 1 item. On the second day of the month, you declutter 2 items, etc. And the challenge continues to get more difficult each day, but the idea is to see how long you can make it. Jake and I did try this game out, I want to say maybe in 2016, and I think we made it to the 20 or 21st of the month doing the challenge. I know we only made it to that point not because we were done decluttering, but we found that once you were adding 20 plus items per day you were trying to declutter, it was really time consuming, and we were both very busy working professionals. I was getting my master's degree at the time, so we just felt like, if we keep following on this path, this is not an intentional direction. We're very busy at this moment. If you've got a little bit more discretionary time, that could be a good fit for you. However, there are 3 additional versions that I think one they might have suggested and 2 others that I have done modifications of that might actually work better. Some people have actually done that challenge in reverse. So in that case, you start out with the most difficult amount, 30 or 31 items, and you work your way down. So the end of the month is just a few items. This gets the tougher parts out of the way first, and you also might have more stuff that you can declutter on those first days because you haven't already dealt with as many items yet. Another variation of this that you might like is to do a 7-day version. This is a little bit less extreme than the 30-day version, but you can still get rid of almost 30 items, and at most you're looking at 7 in one day. This is also nice because you can match it up to your schedule. So if you've got a week that's a little bit more chill or laid back, that would be a perfect time that you could schedule the 7-day challenge then. And finally, another variation of the minimalist game would be to just do 1 item per day and see how long you're able to continue the challenge doing that. And at the end of the month, if you made it the whole time, you would have decluttered 30 items. So those are just all variations upon that idea. I want to preface number 4 by saying that this one's not for everyone. I think if you or maybe your partner or another family member are more emotional rather than logic-based, or maybe get offended easily, then this would not be a good strategy. But I personally think this is one of the most effective, and that is the partner decluttering challenge. And it could be a partner of yours, it could be another family member. But in this challenge, you take a look at items that belong to your partner or loved one, and you select a few items. Maybe you each select 5 of the other person's items. And then you're not decluttering these. That would not be okay. Instead, it's just having a conversation about these. So for instance, when Jake and I played this decluttering game together, again, probably back in 2015 or 2016, he would pull 5 of my items and say, okay, Sarah, here is this particular item. I know you've said you wanted to keep it, but I don't know if I've ever actually seen you use it before. And then I would think, you're right, I haven't used it. And so from there, I can decide what my action is. He's brought it to my attention that I haven't been using something, and it's true. And I can decide, well, am I going to start using it or am I going to get rid of it? And the answer might vary, but this is a really great way to see past some of your blind spots. When we're decluttering, we're looking at certain things and ignoring other areas. And each person views things a little bit differently. And even though this method may, like I said, may not work for some people if they feel like emotional or attacked, if someone's like, hey, do you still want this? This is such a great option to help you see things from a new perspective and with a new light. And sometimes we all need a little bit of tough love or a push in the right direction. So highly recommend this if you think that it could work for you and your partner or other family members. All right, challenge number 5 is my 30-day decluttering challenge. Now, this is different than the Minimalist challenge. This is actually a free guide I put together. The link is in the description field of this video. It's just called the 30-day decluttering challenge, and it goes through 30 different types of clutter. So it's not necessarily getting rid of a certain number of items each day, but throughout the month, you go through these different categories of stuff and work through it gradually. This particular guide has already been downloaded over 3,000 times, and I have it set up so it starts out with some of the easier tasks, and then as you proceed throughout the challenge, it gets a little bit tougher, but it's not about quantity, it's about different types of clutter. So maybe one type of clutter is not as challenging for you, but there's another type that is, and it really does work through the whole home. So that's a really great and free option for you. And the last challenge I'll talk about, as well as my favorite, is to have a scavenger hunt. Now, I've done smaller versions of scavenger hunts with my decluttering course students and think that they are a great way to motivate us to see our items a little differently. There's still the competitive element of it, but you're not necessarily having to sit through like one section of your stuff and just go through it, one at a time. It can help you with a variety of different decluttering areas. And I actually had so much fun the last few days putting together an epic scavenger hunt. I'm calling it the Clutterbusting Scavenger Hunt, and it contains 50 different things that you can declutter. The clues for the scavenger hunt are very open to interpretation. So what one person declutters with that same clue is going to be different than what someone else does. So it's really personalized to your own experience and your own space. Not only that, I had a lot of fun coming up with a bonus challenge for each clue. So you could, at the base level, get rid of 50 items, or you can actually get rid of over 100 items if you use the bonus for each section. And if this scavenger hunt sounds like something that you might enjoy, I'm thrilled to announce you can actually get a copy of it as part of my monthly Minimalist Makeover program, which I'm opening up enrollment today. Early bird enrollment, so the cheapest price that it will ever be. There's already many of my past course students in this program, and it is one of my favorite parts of running Abundantly Minimal. It's a monthly challenge group, so each month there is a certain monthly challenge that can help us live a more minimal life. It's not just decluttering focused, but actually addresses all parts of life. I'll actually show the different topics that we do for the monthly challenges here on the screen so you can see if any of these challenges sound interesting to you. With this monthly program, I prepare a 15 to 20 page guide or workbook for you each month to help you with whatever that challenge is, to make sure you're following the challenge and that you're held accountable. And I also do a live coaching call with anyone in the program each month, so we can talk about your progress. And what I love about these coaching calls is it's a lot more fun than just making YouTube videos. In a YouTube video, I'm talking to a camera, but really there's no one here. But in our live coaching calls, I'm actually talking to you. And with a program I use, Zoom, which is a free program for you, it allows us to actually talk to each other. I can hear your voice. We can support the other people in the group as well and share our experiences. I know when I come away from these coaching calls each month, I just feel so happy and have such a great time interacting with this group of people. In addition to the guide or workbook and the coaching call, I also create several audio guides that help you as you're working through whatever the challenge is. And there's also a Facebook group where we talk through how we're doing with each challenge and provide support. I do have a link below if you're interested in checking it out. I know the group is a lot of fun, and it's different than my Better with Less course because it's not just decluttering strategies, and it's not designed for decluttering beginners. That's more so for my Better with Less course, but this is just for anyone who is maybe not 100% satisfied with the life they're living right now and wants to continue optimizing and improving themselves as we proceed throughout the year. I actually am running an early bird special right now through February 14th at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can get an extra discount off your enrollment, whether you choose to pay in full or do monthly payments. Both are cheaper now than they will be regular price. So if it is something you're interested in, I'd love to have you in the group. Let me know any questions you have in the description field below, and I hope you'll join us. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.